Hi, this is Ashley,
Martha,
and Ruby, and this is a flipped assistive technology video on the IntelliKeys keyboard.
What is IntelliKeys? IntelliKeys is a universal adaptive keyboard that fits into the computer application category of assistive technologies. It is an input and output device that helps students who have difficulty using a standard keyboard and/or a pencil and paper.
the IntelliKeys keyboard was invented in 1979 by a man named Steve Gensler, who created a specialized computer keyboard with large flat buttons that made it easier to type on a computer, in order to help out a friend who had cerebral palsy. As a result, he founded the Unicorn Engineering, later known as IntelliTools, a small company that dedicated itself to making adaptive keyboards for people with disabilities. Since then, the Gensler's assistive keyboard has been modified and improved by various researchers who teamed up with Gensler to make the keyboard and software more flexible, creating the IntelliKey keyboard known today.
The IntelliKeys software can be downloaded on a Windows PC or Mac computer via CD. The IntelliKeys keyboard is also easy to install. It only requires that the device be plugged up to a computer using a USB cable. So let's get started on how it works. The IntelliKeys keyboard comes with various overlays. The first overlay that could be inserted inside of the IntelliKey keyboard is one that resembles a standard keyboard. As stated by Martha, notice that the letter and other output functions on this keyboard are flat and large. Once the keyboard is inserted, the touch-sensitive buttons can be pressed like a regular keyboard. There's also a separate overlay called the setup overlay that allows the features of the keyboard to be adjusted. For instance, the response rate and repeat options can be changed to fit the needs of whatever student using the software. On this overlay, the numbers that change the response rate are slowed down when the numbers are lower and increase when the numbers are higher. So if a student who has a physical disability needs to change the pace of the response rate to a lower standard setting from 15, they could change the response to 7 to accommodate for their need. If the repeat option is turned off on the keyboard, it allows students to press a letter and not have it repeat itself if the student's finger lingers on the keys. The sound, mouse speed, and smart type can also be adjusted on the setup overlay. So I know you may be wondering, what is smart type? Smart type acts as autocorrect, but for the keyboard. It predicts the next letter a student may be trying to type, and it also places space after punctuation marks. For example, if a student wants to type the word buzz, the smart type will predict the letter after the student types the letter B. Some other overlays that come with the keyboard are the alphabet overlay, the basic math overlay, the basic writing overlay, the web overlay, and the computer mouse overlay.
Teachers can also create their own overlays through the Overlay Maker software by IntelliTools, which allows teachers to make customized keys and program the keys to certain keyboard commands when the key is pressed. Basically, a teacher would place a picture onto the software and type in the text commands above the picture. Teachers can print customized keys on regular printing paper, making it possible to create many customized overlays which can allow students to follow along with almost any type of lesson. So therefore, it is important that educators learn this software and teach students how to change the different overlays depending on the current assignment. Teachers need to also monitor that the settings are set correctly to students' pace so that they can use the keyboard properly.
So who does IntelliKeys keyboard help in the classroom? IntelliKeys is a device that is flexible with different learning styles and can help anyone who struggles with the traditional keyboard. It can help students with physical disabilities, such as those who might have limited fine motor skills, like cerebral palsy and dyspraxia, a coordination disorder. Students with learning or cognitive disabilities who may benefit from the keyboard being in alphabetical order, and students with visual impairments who may have a hard time recognizing the small keys on a regular keyboard. It can also be beneficial for students who are learning English. The various features IntelliKeys has allow students with disabilities to have better access to curriculum, which a standard keyboard cannot do. Like it was mentioned before, one could change how IntelliKeys looks and functions. First of all, since the keys are brightly colored, large, and are spaced a certain distance from each other, it allows students to identify letters and numbers on the keyboard quicker. What really helps students is also the fact that they can make adjustments to the reaction rate of the keyboard in order to prevent themselves from pressing unwanted keys or having the finger too long on one specific key. reducing spelling mistakes on papers and assignments. Moreover, since the reaction rate could be adjusted, students can work at their own pace. Overall, the keyboard helps students with disabilities type and even communicate more efficiently.
The IntelliKeys keyboard is an inclusive device because the basic overlays are similar to the standard keyboard, which allows students with disabilities to work on the same assignments and curriculum as their peers, but only using a different way of doing so. The basic overlays also permit students with disabilities to actively participate in all subjects, not just those who have extensive writing. For example, the math overlay helps complete math and science assignments. It also promotes individualized learning because the device can be customized to fit all learning styles, which is something a basic keyboard cannot do.
Some of the things to consider before using this tool is that it is pretty expensive, as it costs $295 for the keyboard, the USB cable, and the 6 basic overlays. If you want to make your own overlay, you would need to purchase the overlay maker separately. And students with motor skill problems may have difficulty carrying the device around because of the size. But it is also important to recognize that overall this device has many advantages. For example, it can be used by many people of all ages, meaning that it can be beneficial for students in K-12. It can be used by multiple students in the classroom. IntelliTools has various programs specific for school learning tasks that can be used with IntelliKeys. It is easy to connect and set up once the software is installed on the computer. It really helps students with writing. And IntelliKeys was designed with limited arm finger movements in mind. Thank you for watching our video on the IntelliKeys keyboard.
We hope this information was helpful and you learned more about this amazing assistive technology.